because of the nature of how the zapper works, this video contains a lot of flashing that may trigger seizures for people with photosensitive epilepsy. Viewers should watch at their own discretion. The NES light gun, or Zapper as it's officially known, is one of the most recognizable video game accessories in the world. With its sleek, futuristic design, the Nintendo logo adorned across the side, and of course, the unmistakable clicking noise it makes whenever you pull the trigger. Whether you had the original gray Zapper or the orange version, if you had an NES back in the day, you probably had the Zapper. The chances are you used it a few times to play Duck Hunt because it was part of the Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt combo cartridge, wound the cable around the gun, and put it in a drawer only to be seen whenever you needed to get a second controller. But there were some great games that made use of the light gun that most people probably never even knew existed back in the day. In this video, I'm going to look at games that strictly use the Zapper with minimal to no use of the controller. For instance, you're not going to see the Adventures of Bayou Billy on this list. So here are my 5 favorite NES games that use the Zapper gun. Number 5, Gumshoe. Released in 1986, Gumshoe was a launch title for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Gumshoe has a slightly different mechanic from other Zapper games, where you make the character jump by shooting the Zapper. This is a platformer in an auto-scroller or endless runner platformer at that. Might even be the first endless runner game of its kind. His jumps are pretty floaty and you make him move higher by shooting again. It has the sort of swimming feel you get in games with underwater levels like Super Mario Bros., for example. In Gumshoe, you play Stevenson, who is trying to rescue his kidnapped daughter from the evil King Dom. Here you move through each level shooting the Zapper to make Stevenson jump, all while avoiding the game's many obstacles. Boulders fall from the sky, tin cans and various enemies fly across the screen. There's lots to avoid. You can shoot these obstacles too, and sometimes it can get a bit overwhelming trying to shoot the Zapper to make Stevenson jump while also shooting obstacles. So sometimes it's easier to just avoid them if you can. The music in Gumshoe is great. I really like the unexpected spooky music in Stage 4, and each level has its own music, which makes the somewhat repetitive gameplay easier to deal with. There are only 4 levels in Gumshoe, which isn't much, but you will die a lot in this game. Just getting the feel for how Stevenson moves or floats takes some getting used to. Overall, this is a pretty fun game and unique as far as Zapper games go, but it can also be quite difficult. Playing a platformer using only the light gun takes some time to retrain your brain that you need to shoot to make him jump, rather than just shooting at the enemies. Number 4, Wild Gunman. Another launch title for the NES, Wild Gunman is a quick draw game based on the 1974 arcade game of the same name. In the game, you face off against numerous gunslingers in either a desert or a saloon setting. In the game, the opposing gunman will yell "Fire!" and that's your cue to pull the trigger. But there are a couple other tricks to know when to shoot. The first is more obvious, their eyes. The gunman's eyes will flash as they yell "Fire!", which isn't hard to spot. The other trick is the timer at the top, which starts at 0. When the gunman yells "Fire!", the timer counts up in seconds. Instead of waiting for the gunman to yell "Fire!" or watching for their eyes to flash, just watch the timer. As soon as it starts counting up, pull the trigger. In most cases, I found more success watching the timer over watching the gunman. When you shoot them, they fall over in a humorous, kind of cartoony fashion. If one of the gunmen hits you, you'll hear that familiar funeral march play. There are 3 game modes in Wild Gunman. Game A is just you in the desert facing off against one gunman at a time. The quickest to the draw wins. Game B, you're still in the desert, but this time it's you against 2 gunmen. The concept is the same. You time your attack when they yell "Fire!", but they don't always yell "Fire!" at the same time. Sometimes it's staggered. Sometimes one of the gunmen won't even draw on you, so make sure you don't shoot him. Game C moves to a classic Wild West location, the saloon. Here you have 15 bullets to take out 10 gunmen. They pop out any of the 4 windows or the doorway, so you need to be quick here. This is actually my favorite mode as it has just a bit more action than the other 2 modes and is generally just more fun to me. Besides facing off against numerous gunmen at a time, the difficulty is raised further as the gunmen don't yell fire and their eyes don't flash. Timer at the top is also removed, so you have to go off instinct. Number 3, Gotcha the Sport. I covered this game in another video I did, which actually inspired me to make this video. In that video, I went over my 5 favorite NES games published by LJN. Gotcha the Sport was the very first game published by LJN, and despite their legacy of releasing some not so great games, they hit it out of the park with their very first title in my opinion. In Gotcha, you're playing a game of capture the flag mixed with some paintball action. Here you must move to the right of the screen. You have to use a regular controller to move, by the way, all while shooting enemy players along the way. When you get to the end, you need to shoot the enemy flag to steal it and then move your way back to the left. But be on the lookout because the enemy is also trying to steal your flag. Music will change and you'll see your flag moving to the right on the indicator at the top of the screen. Eventually you'll cross paths with him, so make sure to shoot him, reset your flag back to the starting location. With the enemy flag in your hands, keep moving left until you reach the end. There are only 3 levels in Gotcha, and each of the 3 levels are grouped into rounds. As you progress through the rounds, the enemy reaction time gets faster, which means you need to be fast and more accurate. Like most NES Zapper games, Gotcha doesn't really have an end, it just kind of keeps going seemingly forever. To me though, these aren't the kind of games I try to beat. They're fun for about 20-30 minutes and then I'm good with the game for a while. But having to use the controller to move left and right while shooting enemies with the zapper at the same time makes for a unique and fun gameplay experience. Number 2, Barker Bill's Trick Shooting. This is a Zapper game that has more of a casual feel. There are 3 levels, each with unique gameplay. Balloon Saloon is a simple balloon shooting game. The balloons move fairly slowly, sometimes straight up, sometimes at a left or right angle. They do get faster the longer you play, but it never feels too hard. Flying Saucers is very reminiscent of Duck Hunt. Here, Trixie and Bill toss plates up in the air that you must shoot before they hit the ground. You only have 3 bullets to hit 2 plates in each round. Sometimes a parrot will fly in and try to steal one of the plates. Shoot the plates before he has a chance to grab one, or if he does, shoot the plate from his grasp. Don't shoot the parrot. Window Panes I think is my favorite game. Here, random objects like bottles, tin cans, and top hats will fall down the screen full of unbreakable windows. You must shoot the objects through the open windows before they reach the bottom. Fun Follies involves playing through each of the 3 games in succession. Should you make it through all 3 games, you'll get 2 additional levels. After the first round of 3 games, you get to play Trixie's Shot, where Trixie will walk around holding or throwing coins that you have to shoot. If you earn a diamond, you can play the slot machine, which you play by shooting the slots. Here, the slot machine is used to increase the number of lives you have. This is also the only way to increase your lives. If you make it through a second round of the 3 games, you get to play Bill's Thrills. Here, Bill throws random objects like a tomato or eggs up in the air, where Trixie is waiting to catch them. Shoot the objects before Trixie has a chance to catch them. You also have to be aware of the parrot in this game as well. Barker Bill's Trick Shooting to me is like a better Duck Hunt. It doesn't take itself too seriously, has a decent but not overly difficult gameplay, and it's just generally fun to play. I also really like the fun carnival-like music throughout the game. And my number 1 NES Zapper game, Freedom Force. This game was ahead of its time. It has a fully animated intro, a good story, and is more violent than most NES games at the time. What I like about Freedom Force and what makes it differ from other shoot the bad guys Zapper games is the inclusion of the hostages who you need to avoid shooting. The bad guys here are fast and waste no time trying to take you out. Unlike Wild Gunman, there are no indicators you need to watch out for before opening fire. As soon as a bad guy appears on the screen, take them out. But watch out for the enemies holding a hostage. Your instinct might be to try and take out the terrorist by shooting him in the head. But remember, you're still using the Zapper, which is not known for its accurate aiming. Trying to shoot the terrorist will result in you just shooting the hostage instead. There are a lot of enemies in Freedom Force, so you better be quick on the trigger and sharp with your aim. I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention the music. Freedom Force is a Sunsoft game, which of course means Naoki Kodaka composed the music. Same musical mastermind who composed some of the best NES music ever, like Spy Hunter, Batman, Blaster Master, and Journey to Silius. It's easy to run out of ammo in Freedom Force, and even easier to miss ammo drops. The game has tons of quick draw action. I like that it makes you analyze all the characters on screen to see who is a terrorist and who is a hostage before you shoot. All of that combined with the music makes this my #1 NES Zapper game. So those are my favorite NES Zapper games. Zapper didn't get as much love from publishers or Nintendo for that matter, but there are some really good hidden gems in the Zapper gun category. What are some of your favorite Zapper games? Let me know down in the comments, and if you haven't already, make sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button, that way you don't miss any of my videos. And if you want to hang out with me when I'm live, I live stream retro games every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube, as well as Twitch and TikTok. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you on the next video.